So, the March Madness bracket for 2024 was just released, and today I'm going to be filling out my picks for the bracket. So, starting with the East region, I'm going to have the 1 seed UConn beat Stetson in the first round. And then going to Northwestern and FAU, I'm going to have the 9 seed Northwestern win that game. And then San Diego State and UAB. San Diego State can play really good defense, so I think that they will end up winning that game. And then moving down to Auburn and Yale, I think Auburn will get that win. They just won the SEC tournament. For BYU and Duquesne, I'm going to take BYU. They can shoot the three really well. Illinois and Morehead State, I'm going to have Illinois. They have a really good offense. Then Washington State and Drake. Washington State, they have a fundamentally sound team. And then Iowa State and South Dakota State, I'm going to take Iowa State. For the second round in the East region, I'm going to have the 1-seeded UConn beat Northwestern. Then Auburn and San Diego State, I think this will be a pretty good game, but Auburn will come out on top. Next is Illinois and BYU. I'm going to take Illinois in this game. I think it'll be pretty close. Then Washington State and Iowa State. I think Iowa State will win this game. I think they will end up going pretty far. Moving on to the Sweet 16 in the East region. I'm going to have UConn win against Auburn. And then Illinois and Iowa State. I think Iowa State will win this game. Going on to the Elite Eight, UConn and Iowa State in the East region. I am going to take UConn to win that game. Now with the West region, I'm going to have North Carolina win in the first round against whichever 16 seed they end up playing. Then Mississippi State and Michigan State. This should be a good game, but I think Michigan State will win. And then St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. I think St. Mary's will win. They have more quality wins this season. Alabama and Charleston. I think Alabama will end up winning this game. Their offense is really good. Moving down to Clemson and New Mexico. I think New Mexico will win this game. They're coming off the Mountain West Conference Championship. And then Baylor and Colgate. Baylor will win that game. Going down to Nevada and Dayton. I think Nevada will win this game. Then you have the 2 seed in Region 2, which is Arizona. I don't see them losing in the first round, so I'm going to have them win that game. Now going to the round of 32 in the Western region, I'm going to have Michigan State beat North Carolina. That's my surprise team of the bracket. And then I think Alabama will beat St. Mary's. And then New Mexico and Baylor, I think Baylor will win that game. They're a solid team. And then Arizona and Nevada, I think Arizona will end up winning. Then moving on to the Sweet 16 in the West region, I think Michigan State can beat Alabama as long as they play good defense. Then Baylor and Arizona, Baylor, I think, will win that game. Going on to the Elite Eight, I am going to have Baylor beat Michigan State and go to the Final Four to play UConn. Now for the South region, Houston and Longwood. I'm going to have the 1 seed Houston win that. Nebraska and Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M can win this game. They had some big wins in the SEC tournament. Then Wisconsin and James Madison. This will be a pretty good game, but I think Wisconsin will win this. They made it to the Big Ten championship. Duke and Vermont. This will probably be my biggest upset of the bracket. I'm going to take Vermont to beat Duke. And then Texas Tech and NC State. I think Texas Tech will win this game. They're a very good team. Kentucky and Oakland. I'm going to have the 3 seed Kentucky win this game. Moving on to Florida and the 10 seed of Region 3, which will either be Virginia or Colorado State, I think. I'm going to have Florida win this game. Marquette and Western Kentucky. I think Marquette should easily win that game. For the second round of the Southern region, I'm going to have Houston win against Texas A&M. Then I'm going to have Wisconsin beat Vermont. Texas Tech and Kentucky. I think this will be a close game, but I think Texas Tech will win. Kentucky just hasn't been consistent enough. Florida and Marquette. I think Marquette will end up winning that game. Going to the Sweet 16, I'm going to have Houston beat Wisconsin and Marquette beat Texas Tech. Then going to the Elite Eight, I think Houston will beat Marquette in a very close game to go to the Final Four. Last is the Midwest region of the bracket. I think the number 1 seed Purdue will beat the 16 seed this year. Then TCU and Utah State. I think TCU will win. They've got some pretty good guards on their team. Gonzaga and McNeese. I think McNeese will win this game. They've been pretty consistent all season. Kansas and Samford. I'm going to take Kansas in this game. They have been having some injuries lately. South Carolina and Oregon. I'm going to go with South Carolina. Their defense is usually pretty good. Creighton and Akron. I'm going to have Creighton easily win that game. Texas and the 10 seed. I think Texas will win this game. Tennessee and St. Peter's. I think 2-seeded Tennessee will win that game. And then Purdue and TCU. I'm going to take Purdue in that game. McNeese and Kansas. Kansas will win that. South Carolina and Creighton. I think Creighton will win this game. Texas and Tennessee. I'm going to have Tennessee win this. Moving on to the Sweet 16. I think Purdue will end up beating Kansas, and Creighton will beat Tennessee. They're very good on both sides of the ball. Creighton and Purdue. I think Creighton will win this game and go to the Final Four to play Houston. So my Final Four teams are UConn, Baylor, Houston, and Creighton. Both 1 seeds and 3 seeds. I'm going to have UConn beat Baylor and go to the championship. And then I'm going to have Creighton beat Houston to go and play UConn in the championship. 2 Big East teams. And then I think Creighton will win the championship against UConn. Since they beat UConn by almost 20 in the regular season, I think they can do it again. Thanks for watching. I did make a few more brackets. I just thought this one would be the most correct. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments and who you think is going to win the championship.